So, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back once again to the show. Welcome back, guys. I'm happy to be back with you guys here. I like to do this. I blow steam with all of you, and I forget about everything else. I'm happy to talk to a little phone. A phone that they want me to change it, to upgrade, to get better things. And I say, hey, man, this is what I got for you guys. I got a phone. I'm not gonna be promoting out there that my phone fell in the lake and then we need to get a gold fund foundation. You know what I'm saying? That wishy-washy stuff. This is what I have for you guys. I have a phone. I talk to you to the phone. You hear me out. I invite you into my house. Ladies and gentlemen, before I get into anything, Mr. Jose Mercado, saludos. Saludos, Jose. Lo tiraré por el medio de la calle, papá, abajo la guagua. I'm going to ask all of you. Right now, we have 13 organic watch channel subscribers. That's right. And I only have 2 thumbs up. That's no good. That's no good. Because I work for free. I work for free. I work for free. And I have a show today that's going to knock your socks off and blow your hair back. You need to pay attention. Today is an unbelievable day. It's an unbelievable day. Believe me, when I tell you it's an unbelievable day, it's an unbelievable day. And today is going to be an unbelievable watch show. I feel that way. I feel. So please give me a thumbs up. And if you haven't subscribed to the greatest, the only watch channel you need to look at, you're not going to regret it. You subscribe to it, and what you're going to get here is free knowledge. So when you talk to these people, Damon, you know what you're doing. You know what I'm talking about, Damon. You know what I'm talking about. And today, I want to talk to you about a few things, ladies and gentlemen. Today we have a record-breaking day. A record-breaking day. It's unbelievable, a record-breaking day. It's incredible that sweet kid Kino has, given you so much knowledge for free. He passes it to me, and I give it to you. Kino is the owner of the channel. Joaquin is the owner of the channel, and I am the voice. I'm not ashamed to tell you that I'm only the voice. I'm only the voice. The real owner of this channel, his name is Joaquin. To you, Kino to me. And ladies and gentlemen, I want you to know what's happening out there with precious metal materials is unbelievable. You have to be, what I have for you today planned, it's going to be an unbelievable show, ladies and gentlemen. I don't really know how much time I'm going to talk to you guys today, but I got like 3 bottles of water, some jungle juice, unbelievable. Some of these highlight things in my water. My wife gives me water. Highlights. How do you call that? Highlights for the body. Micro lights. I think it's like a Gatorade, but it's not a Gatorade. It's like a, gets me going. Unbelievable. Somebody write it there for me. You know what I'm trying to say. But ladies and gentlemen, hydrate. That's it. That's the one, Grande. Unbelievable, that Grande. He knows it all. And ladies and gentlemen, I got to tell you this. The price of palladium is at $1,220 a troy ounce. Unbelievable, ladies and gentlemen. The price of platinum is $1,428. This is going crazy. It's going crazy. It's like one of those slot machines. It's going crazy, or like when your computer goes haywire. I don't know what they call that, a blackout. How do you call that when it goes crazy, the computer? Anybody knows what the name of that stuff is? My son teaches me all the names, but I forget. But it's going crazy what's happening out there, It's unbelievable. Platinum is at $1,428 a troy ounce. This is Bobby. It's a disaster what's happening out there. The dollar, forget about collapsing. The dollar, forget about the dollar collapsing. It's something more, it's something bigger than that. It's unbelievable, what's going on out there. I'm too emotional today. I feel, believable. Hold on. Hydrate, hydrate. Unbelievable. But ladies and gentlemen, I told you platinum is at $1,428. Ladies and gentlemen, you're not going to believe silver. Silver You know, silver. You know, the poor man's precious metal. You know, the poor man's precious metal is becoming rich. Rich. It's at $45 a troy ounce. 45 baros, papá. $45 a troy ounce of silver. The poor man's precious metal is going all the way up. All the way up. Unbelievable that, you know, troy ounce. Unbelievable. You know what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying, Sean. You know what I'm saying. Saludos to you, Sean, from Amsterdam. You know, this show is incredible, this show that we have for you guys. It's unbelievable, ladies and gentlemen. And I got to tell you again, the record-breaking day today. Today's a record-breaking day. Ding, 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 ding. Record-breaking day. It's unbelievable. The dollar has collapsed. It's falling apart. Unbelievable. It's falling apart like that guy, you know, the FBI guy, you know, Patel, Cash Patel, you know, it's falling off. Unbelievable what's happening out there, ladies and gentlemen. You know who I'm talking about, right? That guy, Cash Patel. It's unbelievable, that guy. Ladies and gentlemen, you're not going to believe this. But the price of gold, the new breaking day today, is at $3,732. Unbelievable, ladies and gentlemen, what's happening out there. Please, can somebody tell me something about what's happening in the world? I need your help. You guys need to, you know, cooperate with the show. You're part of the show, ladies and gentlemen, you know? You're part of the show. What is happening out there? Why is this going crazy? All these, you know, precious metals are going nuts. What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? La situación está caótica, muchacho. It's chaotic out there. You know, things are bad out there. There's people out there walking around the streets, roaming the streets. If you go over there to Philadelphia, in Philadelphia, people are walking around like the Walking Dead with that fentanyl, you know, fantasy, you know, whatever you call that name. You know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm talking about. It's destroying people. People walking around the streets. You know, people that were left homeless. You know, they lost their houses. They lost their 401k. You know, they lost their children's tuition money. You understand what I'm trying to say? They're walking the streets of Philadelphia with too much of that I don't know. They don't have no money to pay the rent. They don't have no money for groceries. They don't have no money for gas. But they have money for that fentanyl. Fantastic. I don't know what, you know what I'm trying to say, you know? La situación está al revés. There's no money in the streets. Don't let these cockroaches fool you. Don't let these flim-flammers and hucksters, you know, those backpackers, you know, those, you know what I'm trying to, those Muppet Boiler Room secondary, Great Watch Market Channel dealers, they're a bunch of hucksters and hoodwinks, you know, and you guys are lucky that you guys have me for free. For free. You guys have me for free. It don't cost you nothing, ladies and gentlemen. But I want you to know, ladies and gentlemen, that today is a special, special day. The gold price, I'm slowing down already because that drink that my wife gives me is making me relax. That price is at $3,732. That's insane, ladies and gentlemen. The United States of America is upside down. I don't care what nobody tells you, you know. Thank you. You're very welcome, Renato. You're very welcome. You know, I've been telling you this for the last 3 years about gold, ladies and gentlemen. And it's going all the way to the moon. And people that I know already, to be honest, they already started to cash in. They want to cash in. They feel jumpy. They feel nervous, you know. They bought a couple of bars in Costco, you know. Let me have 10 of them, you know. At the time, they were $2,900, you know. The little things, you know. And they went, give me my money. I want my money already. Because they want to feel it. They want to feel that it's for real what's happening out there. But ladies and gentlemen, I have more to tell you today. I'm going to give you more knowledge that you're going to be, after this show is over, you're going to be scratching your head. You're going to say, how does this Kino know everything? Because remember, I'm not the one telling you this. I'm just a voice. Kino, to me, Joaquin, to you, he's telling you all this. And ladies and gentlemen, I have a special subscriber in this channel by the name of Thurston Howell III. And I was telling you that Rolex, you know, Rolex is a charity, you know, charity company. I was telling you guys that when Rolex sells An example, $100, he gives $90 to charity and 10 for them. And Thurston Howard III was asking me a question. That Thurston Howard III he's beautiful people. He's beautiful people. Always ask, proper questions. And he needs an answer back. And I'm going to give it back to you because I'm stupid like that. Kino didn't tell me about this. I just read it myself and I'm going to tell you. And ladies and gentlemen, when people ask me about where does these profits go to, the profits, that Rolex gives out, the charities. I'm going to tell you where he gives them out. Remember that, Hans Wilsdorf, Hans Wilsdorf was an orphan boy. He was an orphan boy, in the streets. And he's the one that has that foundation. You understand what I'm trying to say? All the money that they give away, they give it to the Hans Wilsdorf Foundation. It's unbelievable, those people from Rolex. They're unbelievable. It works like a charm. But let me tell you more. So what happens is they give that foundation, I told you again, he was an orphan. He was an orphan boy, charitable. The trust, the funds to projects, to projects. This is where the money goes, to projects, to the science. Listen, projects, to the science. This is where the money they give away back to. They give the 90%. 10 for them, 90 for the charities. And ladies and gentlemen, it's unbelievable. Environmental conservation. Unbelievable, these Rolex people. Listen to me and learn. Listen to me and learn. I'm going to give you the punchline. Listen to me and learn. To the arts. The arts. The arts. What's the name of that lady? The Mona Lisa, Da Vinci, those people, the arts. It's unbelievable. I have it all here for you guys. Education. Educación. This is what Rolex does with their money. They sell 100, 10 for them, and 10 for charity. This is unbelievable. It's an ongoing support. And this is crazy, ladies and gentlemen. I can't hold myself no more. Do you know where I'm going with this? It's just given right back to who? It's given right back to Rolex. What charity needs charity, papi? Eso es una mafia, papá. That's a mafia. You understand me? They go all around and it comes right back to Rolex, the king. The king. You understand me? Papi, these people are broad. These people are brilliant, man. This is why they are the king. The king. You understand? These people are the king. These people are unbelievable. You know what it is to say that they give it to education. Exactly. It's like it is, Thurston Howard III. It's like it is. You should be speechless because you come here to learn for free. For free. Ladies and gentlemen, this is crazy. I had to give this explanation to Thurston Howard III because he wanted to know the king sketch. I can tell you this, and I'm going to do it again. They are the king of watches. That's how good they are. You imagine the charities they're giving it to the arts, to the educational, to the science, to the Rothschilds, to the Bilderbergers. You understand me? Everybody getting greased up. You understand? Blackstone, BlackRock, Vanguard, State Street. These people are untouchable. Papi, these people are untouchable. And they told me this. Sweet Kid Kino told me this. When you say all this, you must say allegedly. You understand me? Allegedly, that's what it is. It goes like that. There it is. Antenna getting fried today. The antenna's getting fried today. I'm telling you, If a lightning comes again and we get off the air, I got to turn it off, and we have to turn off all the, all the switches, and we put you back again, because what I'm dropping today is people are mad out there. This is more than, you remember the Masked Magician from the late 80s and 90s? This is worse, what I'm telling you today. They go all around, all around. You know what it is to say conservation, environmental? Those are big words. Hans Wulsdorf, the foundation, he was an orphanage. And this is how it is, ladies and gentlemen. $10 out of $100, 10 for Rolex, and 90% to charity. It goes all around. Right back to Rolex, right here. It's unbelievable, ladies and gentlemen, what I teach you guys for free. What I teach for you guys, nobody would ever teach you. I think it's time for some jungle juice, because this show is going to be powerful today, ladies and gentlemen. This show is going to be powerful. And we're going to be talking about gold and Rolex. Today it's about Rolex and gold. Gold and Rolex. This is a special chapter. This is chapter 28. 28. And I'm going to leave this chapter 28 all by himself on this live stream. So, ladies and gentlemen, it's incredible what these people, the king of watches, can do. And they do it so beautiful, Beautiful. You know what that is, man? They're a bunch of flim-flammers. They're a bunch of hucksters, a bunch of hoodwinks. A bunch of flim-flammers. They see me and you as cow tippers, possum kickers, tomato cans, window lickers, sandbags, crumb bums. That's how they see us. But they didn't know. They had to count con la astucia mía. You know what astucia is? Astucia. I don't know how to say it in English, but if somebody's there in Spanish and they know what astucia means, put it there for them, ladies and gentlemen, because I'm not going to tell you. You Google it, astucia. And I'm the one that's bringing all this to you guys for free. For free. It doesn't cost you nothing. It's for free. I'm making you smarter and smarter and smarter and smarter. That's what I'm making you guys smarter. And ladies and gentlemen, this is... There it is. There it is. He put it down. Julius put it down. I'm telling you what this is all about, ladies and gentlemen. This is unbelievable. I'm telling you, gold is going crazy. Rolex is saying that they're giving away all their money to charity. And it's just going for a round circle spin. Back to Rolex. Deep. Deep. Astucia, papá. Astucia. Astucia. Ese soy yo. La astucia mía. Ellos no contaban con la astucia mía. They didn't count on my astucia. And I'm my friends, because you guys are my friends. And I must give you this for free. Paco Gambino told me always, before you leave the world, you teach everybody what you know for free. You give it to them. You give it to them. That way the world will be better. There's more people awoken, awaken, awoke, whatever you want to call it. I don't like to use the word woke. I don't know what that is, but awaken, So I'm telling you what this is all about. So Thurston Howell, the third, you got your answer. Now you know where it's at. And if you want to know if I knew that always, hell yeah, I know it always. Hell yeah. But they're never going to tell you that. But I will, because I'm stupid like that. That's why. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to jump into something else that Mr. Blair is here, I believe, and Mr. Blair knows about. Gambino, a small man, and with a stature that he man, with his body 5 feet 4 inches, and he will wear his little kangaroo hat. Listen to me, man. I don't care how. I don't care if you're 6'7", 295. Paco Gambino will scare you with his eyes. That's all I got to say. But let's continue to the show. I told you people, I've been talking to you about gold for 3 years. But 2 years ago, I made a video. And I told you that certain companies were loading up on gold. They were loading up on gold. And I made the video was Patek Philippe. Patek Philippe was 2 years ago, Papi, 2 years ago. So you understand how these people, they have, I don't know that word, inside trading. I don't know if it's called inside, excuse me, inside trading when somebody's telling you in your ear, go through here because if you go through it, you're going to go through the hole. Somebody's telling you. Well, to me, they had to have somebody allegedly, they had to have somebody telling them 2 years ago, buy all the gold you can get your hands on. And that was, I said Patek Philippe, but it was Patek Philippe, it was Aramas Piquet, it was Vacheron Constantin, Little Richard Mille, you understand me? Breguet, everybody was loading up. And everybody was loading up and nobody was saying a word. Rolex was in the corner with their crown like this, not even saying a word about gold. Like they know how to do it, because they hang out with the Rothschilds, they hang out with the Rockefellers, they hang out with JP Morgan. There's no need for them to, be saying that I'm going to buy gold. They have all the gold in the world. Rolex is a monster. And I told you about that, ladies and gentlemen. And you must be wondering, Juan, why are you talking about Patek Philippe and gold? Because today is about gold, ladies and gentlemen. Don't you see where gold is going to? Don't you see that gold is at $3,732? An all-time new record on troy ounce of gold? Get it through your head. Get it through your head, papi. El peso te lo puedes pasar por el orto. The dollar, you can pass it by your anus. I'm sorry, that's not a bad word, anus. I heard that's a real, una palabra correcta, He did. He did. Today, 2 pennies buys you a dollar. Today, 2 pennies buys you a dollar. And ladies and gentlemen, this is crazy what's going on. Gold is where it's at. And so somebody else is coming into the picture, ladies and gentlemen. Somebody else. Those Japanese in Japan, there's something special. Listen to the word Japan is something special. Japan has this brand over there called the Grand Seiko. The Grand Seiko. And the Grand Seiko has just introduced 3 new watch models from Grand Seiko. Ladies and gentlemen, you're not going to believe this. Rose gold, fully rose gold, bracelet and casing and rose gold. Yellow gold, bracelet and casing, unbelievable. And white gold, bracelet and casing. The new Grand Seiko, ladies and gentlemen, with a 5-day power reserve. Listen and learn, papi. Listen and learn. This happened on the 19th of September. Today is the 22nd of September, I believe, the 22nd of September. And ladies and gentlemen, this is unbelievable. I mean, this is going to be unbelievable. But listen, you have to hear this so you understand where gold is going. Where gold is going. And what's happening with gold, also with Rolex. You're not going to believe this. So these watch models from Grand Seiko are for the Japan, for Japan, the Japan edition, for all the boutiques in Japan, all the boutiques in Japan are going to have this watch. Unbelievable, 40 millimeter. It's like I told you again, a 5-day power reserve with a movement. It sounds like a Bugatti, they say, Unbelievable. These people, I have always told you that those Japanese people, they're unbelievable, those Japanese too, The only thing is that they're more pricey than the Chinese people, but to me they have the same, la misma mentalidad, same mentality, They're brutal, they're smart people, So they're making these 3 new watch models. Rose gold, yellow gold, and white gold. And also, if you don't believe me, ladies and gentlemen, they also going to have an off-catalog rose gold one. It's thinner, it's lighter, it's unbelievable. Let me tell you something so you understand where I'm going with this. Their bracelet has 200 grams. 200 grams. And you're not going to believe this, ladies and gentlemen. You know, it has the new movement, the NRAZ. You know, it's just unbelievable. It sounds like a spaceship, you know. It's an unbelievable movement. These people, estos japoneses son el diablo. You know, these Japanese people, they're unbelievable. Let me get some jungle juice because I'm getting good at this, you know. And ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to just tell you this. Their watches are 10,000. Listen and learn. No sean huele bicho. Their watches, their precious metal watches, are more expensive. You know, $10,000 more expensive, 10,000 US dollars more expensive than a Rolex date. I don't care what you told me. This is a Grand Seiko. Okay, give me all that. There's a story to all this. No sean lambones y palomos. No sean lambones y palomos. I come with fire today. $10,000 more than any Rolex date. You understand me? So you understand what I'm trying to say. In Japan, the yellow gold, it'll cost you 54,000 US dollars. $54,000 US dollars. You know? Rose gold, $54,000. Yellow gold, $54,000. Does anybody know what the white gold costs? Can anybody give me, somebody, come on, Google it if you want, Google it. You want me to give you the model numbers so you can Google it? I'll give you the model numbers. The SLGA028. You know, look for it if you want to do that. Ladies and gentlemen, $54,000 for the rose gold, $54,000 for the yellow gold, and ladies and gentlemen, es para que tú veas how the gold is going bananas. This is Grand Seiko, papi, Grand Seiko. You tell them, Mr. Blair, explain to them, Mr. Blair. Show them, Mr. Blair. Show them, Mr. Blair, where I'm going with this. Gold, papi, real gold. Like somebody said, gold is king. Gold is king, ladies and gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen, they're asking for that white gold, $60,000. And they don't care. And they say there's a real big long line of lollipop suckers, window lickers, tomato cans, crumb bums, sandbags, possum kickers, cow tippers, ready to give away that $60,000. You understand me? And this only has a date window. That's all. Not a date. You know, no. They don't want to put no Tuesday, Monday, Sunday, or Saturday. They just want to give you the date. That's all. The 24th is today. And that's it. And papi, they're going bananas. They're going bananas with this watch now. And it was just released, the information on the 19th of September. Listen to this. On the 19th of September was released. And the watches will be over there. I think it's over there in Tokyo, Japan. You know, those people over there in Tokyo, they're unbelievable, you know. On October 2025, it's going to be released. And people are going crazy because this is the biggest thing now. I say it's the biggest thing because gold is unbelievable, ladies and gentlemen. And what I'm going to tell you now, allegedly, is allegedly. But it's not. Because somebody told me for real. You know, I have an inside too. Like those people have inside, I have inside too. Ladies and gentlemen, you're not going to believe what I'm going to tell you. You see that watch over there? That one over there? You see that one over there? That one right there. You know, with the rose gold, yellow gold, white gold. And those watches, you know, they were at one moment $37,000, you know, $37,000. And every month, it seemed like every month Rolex was putting it at a 3%, a 5%, a 9%, you know, and this percent, that percent. And ladies and gentlemen, when I tell you this, you're going to go, those people from Rolex, they know it all. You know what they're saying to those people that they can't use the 31 millimeters, those ladies' watches, those Rolex 31 millimeters, small ones, 34, those sizes. Send it back. Send it back. Send those back. We're going to melt them. Send them back in again. Send them back in. Papi, la situación está caótica y ustedes tienen que parar de ser lambones y palomos. Porque esto es una fraternidad. This is a fraternity, a fraternity, It's a fraternity, This is unbelievable. I'm giving you information for free. For free. What I'm telling you is for free. And you're like saying, what did he say? You heard it right, You have that allegedly. Allegedly, you have an AD and you haven't been able to sell that 31 millimeter Rolex, yellow gold, rose gold, white gold, or 34, a 36, a 40. How's that? A 40? Give it back to us. Give it back to us. Papi is going all the way to the moon. Gold watches are going all the way to the moon. It's incredible to say that because I'll tell you all day, every day, that the watches to get is a stainless steel watch. But at this moment, with the revolutionary that's going around the world right now, it's gold, papi. It's oro, oro, oro. No sean huele, huele, papá. Papi, I'm the only one. Pretty soon I'm going to get a thunder lightning in my TV tower. Pretty soon I'm going to get a lightning on my TV tower, ladies and gentlemen. For what I'm telling you for free. You don't know about this, ladies and gentlemen, what's going on. All those ADs that have been sitting on watches for a year, 2 years, 3 years, give it back to us. Give it back to us. You don't know about this kind of stuff. I only know about it because, Kino has friends all over the corners of the world. And they tell them everything, ladies and gentlemen. A little bit of jungle juice, I can relax. I'm getting emotional. You know what that is, ladies and gentlemen? Japan, making watches for $60,000, fully white gold, rose gold $54,000, yellow gold $54,000. You don't believe me? You don't believe me? You Google it. Has anybody Googled it already? Has anybody Googled it? Because I have to tell you everything. You guys, I have to tell you everything always. Mr. Blair, did you Google it already? On these new, Grand Seikos. Big long lines already, getting ready. Give it to me, give it to me, give it to me. Papi, the game is gold. Pure gold. And all those ADs from Rolex, they've been having watches there sitting in the shelves that nobody wants. 31, 33, 32, 34, 30, whatever it is. Whatever it is. Look at that. $54,000 in Crown already. Crown 24. Papi, tú estás jodido. It's upside down. The game is gold. Pure gold. You remember what's his name? From the Beverly Hills? Granny and Jethro. And they found, pure oil. Oil, This is what this is all about. They want their gold back. And they can do whatever they want. You told those people you're not going to, that's it, Jet, clamp it. Jet, clamp it. It's the same thing. And remember the banker? The banker didn't want to lose Jet clamping. He wanted to lose him, the banker, And then the secretary, the tall girl, it's the same thing. Rolex makes a phone call and says, hey, send me back all those watches. You haven't sold them. They're still in circulation. Send them back to me. They cost more money now. That's it. Mr. Unbelievable, ladies and gentlemen, what's going on. This is crazy what's going on. Y ustedes están de lambones así, mira, picking your noses. And they're going like this. He's had it there, Jethro. Jethro. And what was that? The blonde girl? She was like a cousin or something. She was very pretty. I forgot her name. What was her name? It's unbelievable, those Beverly Hillbillies, The same thing. Those people from Rolex, they know it. Ellie Mae. Beautiful. But ladies and gentlemen, you need to know this already. It's all rigged. It's all rigged. And they can do whatever they want. I told you that the king can do whatever they want. That's why they're the king. When you talk to people, do like this to them, the king. When you're going to go buy a watch, and you're talking to the AD, a sales agent, you do this to them, the king. You know what I'm saying? They're going to respect you more. That's it. Ladies and gentlemen, you don't understand. They're picking up all the gold watches from all the ADs around the world. Send it back to me. Send it back. That 31 has been sitting there for too long. It has more money now in gold. Melt it. Papi, these people have it all. These people can never lose, man. I'm telling you. Now you know what they're doing. Now you know what they do with the Hans Wilsdorf Foundation, you know, charity. You know, it just goes around and it goes right back to them Rolex. The arts, environmental, all that stuff. Papi, esto está todo jodido. You know it. They're missing. Papi, you're not going to see no more gold watches. They're taking them all back. You could buy a Rolex some years ago for $37,000. $37,800. I just finished telling you what Grand Seiko is doing with 3 new. Ladies and gentlemen, all kidding aside now, please, if you don't believe me, Google it. The 3 new Grand Seiko releases, they have just let the press go out on the 19th of September, and the watches will be released to all the boutiques in Japan in early October 2025. Bobby, they're asking $54,000. That's $10,000 over of any date Rolex has. $10,000. And the white gold is $60,000. All these people know something that we're never going to know. So the only thing we have left to do is read and make fun, you know, about Jethro and Granny, you know, and Mr. Mooney, to make it look funny for all of us. But oh, Papi, it's a big business, man. It's a big business. You can't sell those watches. They will give you dog with fleas. Now they want all those dog with fleas back. They want all those dogs. Send them back to us. Send them back. It's a big business. Wow. Wow. Look at that. What he just, right now, what Mr. Grande just wrote down. It's a big business, and nobody, we're all walking around blindfolded, you know? We don't want to see nothing. No. In this channel, you're going to see everything. In this channel, you're going to see everything. You know? In this channel, you're going to see everything, Papi. I'm going to tell you what I learned from reading. I'm a fan of you know, learning. You know, I'm thirsty for learning every day. You know, I learned that from my father and Paco Gambino. Both of them. These people were my father. It was a man that, I don't know if I've told you this. I know I have said it here in the past. My father will take the daily news of the New York Post. I repeat, the daily news of the New York Post. He would read it from the front. You read it backwards. You read the back. He would read it probably the whole day. And he knew everything from the funnies to the local to the world. He knew everything. And this is the only thing that I have left, is to learn. You know? And you guys should be thirsty for that, for learning. It doesn't matter if you're 70 years old, 60 years old, or 20 years old. Learning is unbelievable. What I just finished telling you, Bobby, is knowledge for free. I'm telling you where Go is going. I'm telling you where Go is going. And what do I get? I get this. This is what I get because it's for free. Anything that's for free, you're going to get this. Deep. To say, open your eyes or put on your glasses so you can see what's behind there. It's right there. It's right there. So, oh man, Go is going to blow up, man. Go is going to blow up. You know what it is to say that one, I don't know too much about Grand Seiko. Do you guys have Grand Seiko? Does anybody, gracias papi, gracias Julio, gracias. Does anybody have Grand Seiko? You know, thank you, Damon. Thank you, all of you. Thank you. But if anybody has Grand Seiko, I don't know much about it. But Grand Seiko is betting everything on their time machines. You know what's 5 days power reserve? 5 days. The bracelet, 200 grams. Forget about the casing. No Grand Seiko. There you go. Okay. No. You know, so I don't know much about it, but when I started reading this, oh man, ain't nobody. These people, all these flim flammers who have fleeced you, who have hoodwinked you, you know, these hucksters. If they want content, this is the content they should give you guys. But I have to do it because I'm stupid like that. Because they won't dare to do it. They won't dare to tell you where this is going. But I will. I will tell you where this is going. And this is going all the way to the moon. All the way to the moon, Papi. This is going all the way to the moon, ladies and gentlemen. You don't understand. $10,000 over any Rolex date. You don't believe me again? You Google it. You Google it, ladies and gentlemen. It's unbelievable what I have read. And they're betting everything on their watches. They're betting that Grand Seiko is going to go all the way to the moon too. So you say, oh my God, they're involved in the game. And the first name they use, when you read this, the first name they use, this is why I tell you they're the king of watches. Son unos cocotú. Tienen bolas de acero. Tienen bolas de acero. They're talking about the king of watches. They don't talk about no Patek. They don't talk about no AP. They don't talk about no Vacheron. Richard Mille is dead in waters. They don't even look at that. They're talking about gold. Gold is the game, papi. There it is, $10,000. Look at what Joseph Taylor just wrote down. $10,000 over any date. Date 40 millimeter. Papi, $10,000. Are you kidding me? What do they know that we don't know? Damon, help me out. There you go. That's it. They're switching it around. That's it. You're not going to give me no tariffs. You're going to give me with the tariffs now. Ladies and gentlemen, this is serious. And ladies and gentlemen, STD Materials, TPT and TPT, STP, Mario Andretti, you know, STP. Ladies and gentlemen, esto está jodido. You guys, you cannot continue skip hopping around through life like rabbits. And what do I get? This. Deep. Look at this. 37 subscribers, 19 thumbs up. You guys should be embarrassed of yourselves. For free. You have a free membership to this channel. A free membership to give you knowledge. Papi, if Mr. Evil is around here, I think it's Dr. Evil, right? Dr. Evil. Papi, gold is going all the way to the moon, man. Papi, gold is going all the way to the moon. Listen to me. I will not sell, and I'm going to tell you this to all of you too. All those dogs with fleas that we all have, gold watches, do not sell them. Do not sell your gold watches. Do not sell your gold watches. You put them away in a safe deposit box and leave them there. Because, papi, you know, gold is something that is going to be intocable. Intocable. And I had to tell you this. And you saw I jumped. I told you about the Hans Wilsdorf Foundation. You know, I went in with the gold, silver, platinum, palladium, rhodium. You know, Hans Wilsdorf. Then I went to the Grand Seiko. And then I told you what, allegedly, Rolex is doing. Hey, how do you do that when you say, send them back to me, send all that stuff back, return, send them all back. Send them all back. Thank you very much for holding them for 3 years. Send them all back now. Because let's be honest. Who's buying the 31 millimeter watches? A recall. Thank you. A recall. Gracias grande. Coño, eres grande. It's a recall. They say, bring it back to me. I'm going to ask all of you, are you guys buying 31 millimeter watches? 33, 34? I mean, I'm asking you. Are you? Let's be honest. They're all being called back. They're all being, hell no, never. Nobody's buying that. No, but you know what? You were just, holding them for them. Hold them there for me. Hold them. How many of you have there in the store? Oh man, I have like 22. Don't worry about it. We'll take them all back. How many of you have over there? I have 32. Let me have them back. I'll take them back. Papi, they taking all those watches back. I told you that gold watches a few months ago, and they went through this year to you guys, and it came out through here. You guys didn't even listen to me. Papi, gold watches va a ser supersónico. Supersónico. No, I'm telling you because I know what I'm saying. But that part, when they told me that part of their calling, they showed me the word today. Grande showed me the word, the recall. I said, what? You're going to see now more stainless steel watches than ever. No sean gilipollas. You're going to see more stainless steel watches than ever. More two-tone watches than ever. Well, sort of, two-tone. Because they want all the gold, papi. Ahí está la astilla. Ahí está el dinero, papi. How much do you think a gold watch, probably costs Rolex? How much? How much you think? Think about it. How much you think it really costs them? Does anybody have an idea how much a date will cost? A gold date? Not us, the factory. How much? I said, I'll say under $8,000. Okay, see that? $10,000. See that? I said under $8,000. I'm telling you. It's a business, bro. It's a big business. This is why they throw me so many thunder lightnings at my TV tower. Because what I teach you guys for free is like a seminar. You know, a seminar? People that pay that guy, whatever his name is, Robertson, walk the fire. Walk the fire, people jumping in the fire, and they pay them $10,000. I'm going to do that. I'm going to put you to walk the fire. $10,000, walk the fire, and you gotta pay your room and board. No comas mierda. You're getting it for free here with me, for free. You gotta drink a little. It's me alone. I don't even have sweet Kino in today. Kino's, he's getting kind of, believable, that Kino. How do you feel about this knowledge that I dropped on you guys today? How do you feel? How do you feel about that? Huh? How do you feel about, the Hans Wilsdorf Foundation? How do you feel about that foundation? It's unbelievable, that foundation they have. The Hans Wilsdorf Foundation. It's him. Everything goes back to him. It's his foundation. And we're believing in our heads it's a charity. They're giving all the money to all these people. Giving me that. Giving you this. This, papi. There's not even a lunch for free here. There's not even a lunch for free here. The only free thing right now is me. I said it wrong. And sweet Kino to me, Joaquin to you. We are the only free thing out there. For free. Bobby, those people, if they wanted to make content and they wanted to, redeem themselves, they will be giving you this information, what's going on. They will be giving it to you. None of this, I'm doing this live. I'm not taking a take. I'm tired of doing videos, editing it, putting it together. I said a wrong thing. No, I don't care if I say a wrong thing. You guys help me out. You guys know my subliminal already, or my language. You understand already. But they won't do that. Bobby, they won't do that. They're all getting greased up, They are all greased up. You know what I'm saying? It's unbelievable. I got a Swatch watch. Unbelievable, ladies and gentlemen. I'm telling you what's going on. I'm telling you what's going on because you need to know these things. You need to know these things because the only channel that you need to watch is this channel. The only. And now the new style is channels becoming like me. Only I'm wrinkled and they're pressed. you know, with a nice shirt, nice hair. You know, some of them have, you know, they cut their hair like, you know, they shave their heads, you know. Not me. This is what it is. I've been doing this for the longest, you know. Remember, this is a public service watch announcement channel. And they don't want me here no more. They want me out. Ladies and gentlemen, they want me out. And they can't get me out because I'm speaking the truth. And the truth will get you hurt. You know, the truth will get you hurt. You know, we don't know. We don't know what happened to that guy and, you know, excuse me, to that gentleman in Utah. We don't know what happened. Ladies and gentlemen, I haven't even sat down to really analyze this whole operation, you know. It was, let me tell you something, these people in the ICA, these people are flawless, papi, flawless. These people, papi, esta gente te quitan las medias sin quitarte los zapatos. They'll take off your shoes without taking off your socks. They'll take off your socks without taking off your shoes. Papi, tú estás jodido, pai. Esto está jodido. This is scary, bro. This is scary. This is scary. This is scary what's going on. You gotta be very, very careful. You know, I'm gonna tell you something. Talk less and hear more. You know, that's all. Talk less and hear more. You're gonna find out a lot of things that the person is talking. You know, themselves. Paco will tell me that always. You listen. He's gonna tell you the truth. She's gonna tell you the truth. You just listen, Juan. Juan, you can listen. Listen to them. And then you're gonna be able to see who they are. You're gonna be able to evaluate who they are for real. And I'm telling you guys, you need to listen. Listen, they're telling you in your face. El mundo está virado al revés. The world is upside down. I don't care, you know, what you believe, what are your beliefs. Esto está jodido, papi. Esto está jodido. You know, esto está jodido. I'm telling you. Good evening to you, Mr. Donut. You know, Mr. Donut, today we're dropping too much knowledge here. You can ask the fellow, you know, recovering tomato cans. They're here today. They'll tell you everything that I said. And I'm telling you, you know, it's very scary what's going out there, you know. I told you already what's going on with the Grand Seiko. I told you what's going on with Hans Wilsdorf. You know, Hans Wilsdorf. It's unbelievable. You know, Mr. Don, I'm gonna say this one more time. You know, Thurston Howard III asked me that he wanted to know where was all the money, the charities that Rolex was giving all their money to. So I gave Thurston Howard III the answer today. I told him that Rolex is, you know, has the Hans Wilsdorf Foundation. It's his, the foundation. And he gives it to the arts, to the environmental, to the science, to the education. And if you know what I mean, it's just coming right back to, you know where? Right here. Unbelievable, ladies and gentlemen. Right here. It comes right back. All that comes right back to them. Right there. Right there. I'm over too. Right there. It's what it is, ladies and gentlemen. Let me tell you, papi, this thing is done that if you do not read between the lines and you don't put on your glasses and you stop obeying, you're going to get to see everything. And that, again, the person that showed me obey and put the glasses on is Mr. Donut. I'm telling you what it is, ladies and gentlemen. Papi, esa gente son una jodienda. They have us all, the masses. We are sheeps walking into the slaughterhouse. I don't care. I don't care. Boom! Whoa! I don't care if the thunder lightning hits me. You know, it's what it is. Papi, eso es lo que hay. Eso es lo que hay. It's unbelievable. And if you don't know, you didn't hear this either, Mr. Donut, you know, Grand Seiko is making 3 new watch models, rose gold, yellow gold, and white gold, and they're selling them for $54,000, the yellow and the rose gold, and the white gold they're asking $60,000. And they have one that's from off catalog that they're going to give it to that guy. You know, the guy from, you know, Fish Tank, you know that show Fish Tank, that guy Fish Tank, he's going to get the one that's off catalog. Esto es así, papi. Esto es monstruo. You don't know what I'm talking about. Hold me back. You don't know what I'm talking about. I'm telling you. Let me tell you, you don't know what I'm talking about. You gotta stop being, you stop being obedient. You cannot continue being obedient. You need to open up your eyes and read what's happening out there. La situación está jodida. This is every 18 years something big is gonna happen. But ladies and gentlemen, what's happening right now in the world is the biggest thing I have ever seen. Scout's honor. Scout's honor. Forget about it. Forget about when, the Reagans were around, the Carters, esto huele bicho, Bush Jr., dropping faster than Bill Clinton's pants. What's happening today, Bobby, let me tell you something. You guys, we were all sitting down watching this person talking about debating that kid, that gentleman, Charlie Kirk. We saw an assassination live in TV, Papi. Papi, we saw an assassination. Did we see an assassination? Did we see a stage? Was it really coming from 250 yards? Was it somebody right there from his camp? If it goes off, you know what's going on, okay? If it goes off, a thunder lightning, what was that about? Was that shot a distraction shot? And then you got him with a palm? They got him with a palm. You know what a palm is? Let me see what a palm is, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to show you what a palm is. I'm going to show you what a palm is. You guys know what a palm is? Look like a horror show. It looked like a horror show, coño. Look, guys, this is a palm. I went too deep. That's a palm. This is, what was that? It looked like a horror show. I thought it was in Coney Island. I don't know what it was. Did it enter through here or did it come through here? Where? And I'm going to give you the punchline now. So before I go into the watch market update, is he still alive? I'm telling you, is he alive? The question is he alive? And then they're running with him through the street. They were running with him, running with him. I don't know if you guys saw him running. I don't know. Then you had 80,000 people witnessing yesterday over there. And you got the guy from Pennsylvania Avenue. And then you have his wife, beautiful wife, two beautiful children, hugging the guy from Pennsylvania Avenue, squeezing him. And, what was this about? What is this about? Are they going to go back down to 20 flights down in Colorado, go under the building there, and live there for a while until we forget about everything? You know what I'm trying to say, Papi. We talk about everything in this channel. Everything. We talk about everything in this channel. If you sit down, I had to stop watching it. My wife told me you need to stop watching that already. You've been drinking too much jungle juice, you need to stop watching that. And when you start drinking jungle juice, you go, you start thinking out of the box. No. Listen to me. He passed away. They did a funeral for him. I'm just saying, where? You start looking at all the angles. You start looking at everything. And everything is hush hush. And today we have the most powerful thing right now that's going on, which is energy, AI. AI, IA, whatever you want to call it, AI, IA. You know what I'm trying to say. Grande, me pongo como Tarzan. Tarzan, papi. And people look at me and say, bro, where do you get these ideas from? No, this is why God gave us a brain so we can use it. La cabeza no solamente para pelo. The head is not only for hair. It's not for hair. You need to think. And I'm thinking, man, come on, man, is this for real? So you hear distraction, shut up. And then you have people around there and all these different videos, they're being chop, get it out. Don't let that video go out. Don't let that video go out. Let me tell you something. What we experience almost 2 weeks ago, or it is 2 weeks already, we saw the same thing with John F. Kennedy, the same thing with Bobby Kennedy, the same thing with Martin Luther King, the same thing with who's the other one? I don't know, Gandhi, Malcolm X. You know, remember the guy told you over there in Japan they had like 5 stripes, 5 stripes, and then he wanted to talk over there. You know who I'm talking about? Over there. I think it was, I don't know, Japan, or I think it was Japan. The guy from Japan, and he was there. Right there in the middle of there, talking to everybody, and right there, those people didn't even care. Right there, no, we don't have to hide or nothing. Pop! Afuera. Won't talk no more. You know what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying, Thomas. You know what I'm saying. Guys, if you haven't seen that, go take a look-see at it. The guy went there from Japan. He was talking there, right in the middle. Big time. This guy was a big time person, 5 stars, right here. And he had the people going crazy. I already told you guys, when you talk and nobody listens to you, that's not a problem. That's not a problem. No problem. Nobody's listening to him. They have him as a crazy guy. But when they start listening, people stop to listen to you, that's what the problem is. That's the problem that I have. And not me, I said it wrong. Sweet Kid Keto, this is his channel. I'm only the voice. Anything happens to me, no, it's not me. It's not me. It's Sweet Kid Keto. I don't know nothing. Oh my God, I've lost so much. I'm telling you, that guy was talking there, he was dropping knowledge, man. He had everybody in the square, Poor Kino, I'm telling you, they come for me, not me. They're Joaquin. They're Joaquin. Más nada. Not me. Tú sabes, eso es así, papi. Esto es tremendo. This show is unbelievable. This show that we have been chosen the #1 watch market update show in the world by no other than Fudinki. Because what we bring here is unbelievable. And ladies and gentlemen, Sweet Kid Kino has been telling me something. I don't know if it's true or not, but Kino told me that one day, not to be surprised. This is what Sweet Kid Kino tells me. He says, don't be surprised if one day they do a watch show and they use your catchphrases in one of those Netflix, they're going to use you. And I said, okay, Kino. That's what Kino told me. That my catchphrases, crumb bums, sandbags, tomato cans, window lickers, you know what I'm saying? You understand what I'm trying to say? Crayon eaters. They're going to use it one day because we're for real. Ladies and gentlemen, we've talked a lot about this, and sometimes we can't keep on talking about this because, a thunder lightning might hit my TV tower. And you know what I'm trying to say, Thurston Howard III. You want it, you got it from me. If you guys don't think I read the comments, I do. I do read them, and you needed to know where all that charity money goes to. It goes to them. That's it. It goes to them. You know what I'm saying? It goes to them. It goes right back, The arts, all that stuff, educational, science, back to them Rolex. Ain't nada. It keeps on going, The Bilderbergers get greased up, Bohemian Grove. Salute the Bohemian Grove. Ladies and gentlemen, you don't know about this. What I give you for free, what I do for free, my work, because what I have is an art. Kino tells me that I have an art, And I do this for free. I want you to use it to your benefit, You understand? You have to, This is why I told you already when people ask me, gracias, Renato, gracias. This is when you people told me, about, you know, what watches you have in your collection, how many watches you have. You cannot be doing that because it's not a good thing. You know, it's not a good thing. It's very unhealthy to do that. You know, it's very unhealthy, you know, to be doing unboxing and showing people what you have. You're gonna get knocked around, you know? You're gonna get knocked around because we live in a society where la vidia, you know what la vidia is? Like la vidia. Does anybody know what la vidia is? La vidia. I'm gonna tell you, es una enfermedad. La vidia es una enfermedad. It's called, you know, la envidia. La envidia. La envidia es la envidia. Y la envidia es una enfermedad. You know, jealousy is a very scary thing, you know. You know, people that are jealous out there, I'm not talking about watch, I'm talking about in general. They can do, you know, la envidia, papi, la envidia. Te vuelve loco. People don't. En la vida, Paco Gambino told me this. He says to me, Juan, people, you told me this to me. He says, Juan, people will give an eye to see you blind. And I will say to myself, man, where does this, you know, this mother frogger get all this, you know, this vision, you know, this knowledge? He would tell me that always. And I said, no, Paco. He says, Juan, jealousy is a sickness, you know. People might have $1 million and you only have $100, but you have this charisma, you have this likeness that he doesn't have with $1 million. So he's gonna hate you always because you have that. Eso es un don. Eso es un don, papi. Eso es un don. Eso es un don. How do you say don in English? You know, does anybody know how to say don in English? It's a gift. It's a gift. It's a gift you have, you know. I'm sure that Damon, Thurston, Mr. Donut, Mr. Blair, you know, you guys have an art, you know, and many people are going to be mad at you because you have that art. And so you have to be very, very careful. Exactly. You have to be very, very careful out there because, you know, one day, probably one day, you know, you 33 organic watch channel subscribers, one day you'll probably see me in the street. And I'm going to tell you this for real. I'm going to tell you this for real because you're here. You know, how can I say this? All right, I'm going to just say it. What you see here is a character I'm playing. It's a character I'm playing. So I'm being honest. If you see me in the street, you're going to say, well, that's not the person that I see, you know, that he invites us to watch a show from his, you know, from his own. And it's true. I'm not going to be that person. I'm going to be, you know, I mean, I'm just playing a character, you know, and I mean that from the bottom of my heart, you know. Some things is me, and some things is a character I play, you know. Don't misunderstand what I'm saying. I'm not lying. I'm telling you, everything I'm telling you is for real. I'm just putting a character into this whole thing because you don't want to watch a guy say, because the Margo, this the towel, the rotor. You know, they're already telling you all that already. You know, you have 1,000 of those. But do you have 1,000 of me? You don't. You don't have 1,000 of me, you know? I'm a clown. I'm like you remember Homie the Clown? I'm like Homie the Clown, right? Let me give you a watch market update so you guys can scram and do your own song and dance out there, right, guys? Ladies and gentlemen, our first watch is the AP Royal Oak. Único, correcto. Gracias, Julio. The AP Royal Oak Yellow Gold Smoke Dial. That's right, smoke dial, frosted yellow gold. Frosted yellow gold, reference number 15550. It's a 37 millimeter. This is for a gentleman that requested this watch with a smoke dial. You know, it's like the James, you know, the James LeBron. You know, the James LeBron. That watch, but a 37 millimeter. You know, retail price is $75,400. Ladies and gentlemen, don't pay for that watch more than $91,000 and dropping. You do whatever you want. It's your money. You do whatever you want. Listen to me. If you guys want to continue maintaining these flim-flammers out there who have been hoodwinking you, you know, and flim-flamming you forever, that's your problem. You can continue doing that. What I do. Esto es una obra de caridad. And if you don't know what I said, you Google it. But I said something in Spanish is very, very powerful. I'm not going to tell you, you Google it, you know. Esto es una obra Una hora de gratis, de corazón, papi, de corazón. Our next watch is an AP Royal Oak Yellow Gold Blue Dial, 39 millimeter. 39 millimeter. Reference number 15202. BA. Gracias, Julio. Gracias, papá. BA. When you hear the letters BA, you know, it's this, deep, you know? When you hear BA, it's deep. And ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to tell you because that watch has a retail price of $75,300. Right? $75,300. It has a blue dial and it is yellow gold. Don't pay for that watch. You do whatever you want. You don't pay for that watch more than $92,000. 92. Gracias, grande. Gracias, papá. I really mean what I'm for real. Because you guys are sending me comments on that. I do this because I feel that you know, in life sometimes, you know, life has been good to you, you know, and I believe that life has been good to me, you know, from where I was at to where I am today. I don't have no complaints because I'm going to tell you a secret to all of you. I'm going to tell all of you a secret. You know, where I came from, it wasn't. I came from a very humble family, you know, very, 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 very humble, very, very humble. You know, I told you the rice and spam and bean story. That's what we came from. But where I was at in my life, you know, God opened up many, many beautiful things for me, and so I have a lot to appreciate, and so I give back. I give back this way, you know. I give back this way, you know, not like the Bilderbergers or not like Hans Wilsdorf, but I give back, you know. I give back, and you know, he watches everything that I do because I'm you know, sweet Kino, you know, it's unbelievable, legendary, you know, it's unbelievable. Ladies and gentlemen, our next watch is an AP Royal Oak Rose Gold Blue Dial, 41 millimeter, reference number 26331, chronograph, you know, chronograph with a retail price of $53,500. Ladies and gentlemen, do yourself a favor and don't pay for that beautiful rose gold, you know, 26331 blue dial chronograph. Don't pay for that watch more than $76,000 in dropping. You do whatever you want. It's your money and you spend it as you want. Si quieren seguir de palomos y de lambones, sigan así. La situación está jodida, muchachos. The situation is bad out there, guys. There's no money out there. I'm telling you, there was a watch show here, and mira, you know, quiet, everybody quiet. There's not even room no more to be, you know, hyping watches amongst each other. Because who are you going to sell it to? Who are you going to sell it to? Who are you going to sell those watches to? Who are you going to sell them to? You can put the numbers you want. You can put and say that the Rolex new John Mayer Daytona with the green dial and the gold gauges costs $100,000. You can put whatever you want, but nobody's going to give you $100,000 for that watch. Si no hay dinero, papi, you know, no hay dinero. Ladies and gentlemen, our next watch market update is the AP Royal Oak Rose Gold Black Dial. Black dial, 41 millimeter. Reference number 26240 chronograph. Retail price is $59,000. $59,000. Don't pay for that watch, and you do whatever you want. You do whatever you want. Do whatever you want. Don't pay for that watch more than $81,000. $81,000, right? Our next watch is an AP Royal Oak stainless steel blue dial, 41 millimeter, the 15400. 15400. Retail price is $19,700. Wow, good job, Mr. Donut. $19,700. It's a discontinued watch. It's a collector's choice. It's a collector's grade. It's a collector's dream. You know, it's a collector's grave, you know? It's unbelievable. Ladies and gentlemen, I gotta tell you the truth. In this channel, we say the truth. It's a blue dial, and it does have some meat left on the bone. It does. You know, if it has meat, we're going to tell you, don't pay for that watch more than $30,000, and it's continuing going down, all right? You do whatever you want. Our next watch, ladies and gentlemen, it is the AP Royal Oak Stainless Steel. Wow, again, Mr. Donald, you're on fire. Oof. AP Royal Oak Stainless Steel White Dial, 41 millimeter, reference number 26240. This is the white dial, and it's a stainless steel, and the retail price is $40,500. And I'm going to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, you do whatever you want. It's your money, and you spend it as you please, because I spend mine as I please. And I'm going to tell you, don't pay more for that watch, more than $42,500 in dropping. All right? You do whatever you want. Okay? Ladies and gentlemen, this is a watch right here. This is a Rolex Daytona Platinum with a blue baguette diamond dial. You know? Diamond dial. It's a beautiful watch. This you guys call it Platona, you know, all those names you guys put on the watches. Is the 116506. And ladies and gentlemen, this is a watch that I personally know about this watch because a subscriber spoke to me about this watch. And he has the CPO. Check this out. The CPO. You know what? We can't say too much so we don't get a thunder lightning, you know, in the tower. You know, the CPO doesn't have the card, but they give you the CPO card. You know, they send it in and they say it's the real thing, and this is it. You know, it's the real thing. They give you the thing. Mr. Donut, man, you're on fire, Mr. Donut. You're on fire. So this Rolex Daytona Platinum blue dial, you know, pamper blue dial. You know the Pampers that we use for the babies, the pamper, the bluish color. You know, pamper blue dial with a chocolate ceramic bezel, and it has a diamond baguette dial, you know? And he paid for this watch. You ready for this, ladies and gentlemen? So you understand how people, because, you know, when you lose a couple of G's, that's part of the game. You know, you lose $2,000, $3,000, $1,500, you know, $1,500 to $3,000 you lose. Coño, Thomas, you saying that for real? Thomas, are you saying 86 for the Daytona? Are you saying 86 for the Daytona? Él está diciendo 85, yo creo. Yo 86. Anyway, going back, if you did say 86 for the Daytona, let me know if you said that. If it was for the Daytona diamond baguette dial. 116506. Okay, there it is. He said yes, don't pay for that watch. And he paid for that watch, that gentleman. He paid. You ready for this? A kid, you have to be crazy, man. Paid $130,000 for a Daytona Platinum chocolate ceramic bezel, blue diamond baguette dial, markers, you know, markers on the dial. $130. What a saf. And I'm gonna tell you today, don't pay for that watch. You do whatever you want, but don't pay for that watch more than $85,000. Sorry, sir. I'm sorry you got flim-flammed. That's unbelievable. I tell you that I will give you the watch market update right here. Plus sales tax, correct. Coño, Christopher's 79. Wow. You know, that's crazy. You know, you pay $130,000, and like Mr. Damon showed me, plus your Uncle Sam's taxes. And I'm telling you, don't pay more than $85,000 because I'm stupid like that. That's how I am. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to give you another Rolex Daytona rose gold with a sun dust dial with diamond markers, you know, baguettes. That one was platinum. This one is rose gold. The reference number of that watch is the 116505. It's a 40 millimeter watch. And ladies and gentlemen, so you understand what, you know, so you can see the difference between the platinum, because let me tell you something. I know that to all of us, we have been taught that platinum is el macho, the macho of all the precious metal, right? But in this case, papi, el macho de la jugada, you know, the macho of the big game is gold. It's gold. And platinum is just, you know, staying behind, like one of the ducks, staying behind. I'm telling you. And still, Rolex will charge you more with a platinum than anything this yellow gold or gold, whatever. Don't forget that. Don't forget that. But in this case, this is a beautiful rose gold Daytona with a sundust dial diamond markers. Mr. Christopher saying 41,000. Thomas, he loves platinum. That's beautiful. And I'm going to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, don't pay for that watch more. Beautiful watch. Don't pay for that watch more than $46,500. Right? You guys do whatever you want. You guys do whatever you want. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to show you how quick these people from Patek Philippe are going to raise that 15% tariff. I'm going to show you today because you're here to learn. You're here to learn. That's all. You're here to learn. This is a Patek Philippe Complications. Stainless steel. Green dial. Reference number 59051A. Annual calendar. 42 millimeter. Ready, ladies and gentlemen? The retail price of this watch, it's what I told you. It doesn't matter they put the 15%. It doesn't matter. It does. You know what watches is going to only matter? I told you this a couple of days ago, and I'm going to tell you again. The only watches that's carrying Patek Philippe and their new facility and factory, I don't care what none of you say. I don't care what none of you say. I don't care. You can say it, but I don't care. It's two watch models, the Nautilus and the Aquanaut. The rest, kaput. 5905 annual calendar, 42 millimeter retail price, all the way up to $78,386. Don't pay for that watch. You do whatever you want. You do whatever you want. But don't pay for that watch more than $46,500, and I have to. Damn! Do whatever you want. Do whatever you want. You do whatever you want. Ladies and gentlemen, Patek Philippe Complications, Platinum, 5170, blue dial, blue strap, chronograph. Unbelievable, 39.4 millimeter. It's a beautiful looking watch. Beautiful with a blue dial and a blue strap. Does anybody know what I'm going to tell you to pay for that watch? Anybody? Reference number of this watch on the Platinum, Patek Philippe Complications, 5170. 5170. Let's see how good you guys are. How much? Saludos, DJ. Nobody knows? Going once? Stop there, Mr. Donut. Stop right there. Oh man, Christopher, Mr. Donut, wow. Wow. You see it? Do you see it? Don't pay more than $86,000. Don't pay more than $86,000 right there. Too much. You guys know too much. Guys need to do your own show already. Unbelievable. Ladies and gentlemen, listen to this one. This is a watch that I want to know if you guys saw this, maybe you cheated. This is the Patek Philippe Complications. World Time. Denim. World Time denim, you know, with a denim strap, you know, like a jean strap, you know, dungaree. It's unbelievable. Blue dial. Thank you, Christopher. Thank you so much. Thank you, Papa. This is the 5330. 5335 330. 39.5 millimeter casing. The World Time. Ladies and gentlemen, here it goes. Here it goes. 15% tariff. The retail price is $94,746. How much are you going to pay for it, Mr. Donut, Damon, Mr. Blair, Thurston, Howard III, Christopher. How much? How much are you going to pay for that watch? How much? $56 by Christopher. Okay. Wow, man. You guys are cutting, man. Wow. 68, Mr. Premium. One more. Give me one more. Diablo, papá, está dañado esto, coño. Okay. I'm going to have a H. Muser watch market update very soon. A big one. Mr. Donut, wow. Ladies and gentlemen, you guys are on fire. And I'm so happy for all of you. Don't pay for that watch more than $61,000. 61. It doesn't matter what. The only tariff that matters is on the Patek Philippe, on the Nautilus Patek Philippe, and on the Aquanaut. The rest, papi, mira, deep. Mujer. And ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to give you my last watch market update of the afternoon. It's a Rolex stainless steel Oyster Perpetual 41 millimeter pistachio. 134,300. 41 millimeter with a retail price of $6,600. Something to that, okay? But how much am I going to tell you to pay for that watch? Tell me. This watch was going all the way up, all the way up. 9,500. That's very good, Renato. Okay, stop right there, Mr. Donut. Stop. No, stop that. Premium. He hit it. Hold on. Ding, 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 ding. Premium. Ding, 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 ding. Because we don't lie here. He said $11,100. Papi, yo soy una jodienda. What does it say there? Tell me, Premium, what does it say there? Exactly, right in the head. Wow. I'm proud of you, Mr. Premium. I'm proud of you. That's right. I'm proud of you. Wow, right in the head. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that's the end of our show. I hope you guys enjoy this Watch Market Update show. I hope you learned something from... He's on a roll. Yes, he is. Yes, he is. Respect to Mr. Premium. Respect to him. I hope you enjoyed the show very much. I hope you learned something about gold, what's happening with gold, what Hans Wilsdorf is doing with his foundation. It's just going around and going right back to Rolex. I hope you learned something about what Grand Seiko is doing. Good for you, Mr. Premium. Grand Seiko is doing. And thank you, Damon. Thank you so much. Thank you. So I hope I covered a lot of things for you, and you know what's going on, and you know what Rolex is doing now. He has a recall. They showed me the word here today. Somebody showed me the word recall of calling back all the gold watches that nobody wants. 31, 33, 34. Those sizes, even 40s that you can't sell. Give them back to us. With champagne dials. Give it back to us. We want to melt it again and put it back in production. Give it to you deeper, because this is how it is. All right, guys? Anyway, I want to wish all of you out there, to my friends who are Jewish, Happy New Year to all of you. Happy New Year to all of you. Mucha salud, mucho amor, mucho cariño. Be smart. Put on your glasses so you can see better. All right? Peace. Take care and brush your hair.